back, guys. In today's video, we're going to be pulling the engine out on this 1969 Chevy. In the last video that I had on it, we got it running, cleaned up, and realized that it has quite the horrible knock. So, we're going to see what is the cause of it. Probably a spun bearing, but we'll see. So, let's get to it. Alright, I have two fans going. It's a warm day out today, so I hope it's not going to be too noisy. I'll try to keep them on low so they don't get in the way of the recording. But anyhow, don't mind my shop. It's kind of a disaster. Multiple projects going on. But, you know, shops be shops. They get dirty. So, let's get started. Alright, after I pulled it in, I went ahead and removed the battery. Don't want to have electrical fires. But I'll go ahead and pull off the air cleaner. I'll go ahead and do just a small time lapse. I'm just pulling off the piddly small stuff, but whenever it comes to the fun hard work, I'll let you guys see it. Now the distributor cap doesn't look the best. We'll probably replace it. Alright, I got the coolant draining. So I'm going to start pulling off the radiator hose, get the radiator out of the way. Don't want to pull the radiator hose off quite yet. It's still draining. I really don't want to get the floor covered in coolant. Wouldn't be the first time. Probably won't be the last. On the floor. All right, what's next? Fuel line? Sure. Fuel hoses look great. Well, fuel hose. Let's get you down here so you can see. Fuel hose don't look too bad. Just covered in dust and whatnot. It actually feels really malleable still, but I'll probably replace it just to be on the safe side. I'll get the heater hoses off and remove the power steering, the alternator, and then the wonderful headers. I will have to show you guys what I found on the headers. I was super excited about the headers. Well, I'll just go ahead and show you guys now. It's bad. There's no collector at the header. They just cut off. Let's see, focus on it. And they welded straight to the header on both sides. So that's going to make it a little interesting. I may have to cut it off. I probably will cut it off. Weld on a new collector, and then have the exhaust where it will unbolt like it's supposed to. Sit. Stay. I'm gonna have to replace these heater hoses anyways. They don't look the best. Next, I'm going to attempt to remove the ground and then the header bolts, which is going to be wonderful because, well, they don't, with them being welded, that's not going to be fun. So, boy, everything was torqued to spec here. Not really. Put that bolt back. That way I don't get lost. They're loose. That one. That one. I promise you guys I did not loosen these to begin with. Wow. Okay, well, that's just making it easier on me. Yep, they were loose. This spark plug was the only one that was actually tight. Oh wow, they put double the gaskets on. Yeah, that wasn't leaking. Oh jeez. We'll get the correct header gaskets. Oh yeah, you can see. How it's all black from where it was leaking. Well, let's go to the other side. Oh, that'll make sure and give you an accurate reading. Alright, looks like this side they only had one gasket on, one gasket set at least. Not like the other side, it had two sets. See, just one. Different style too. Alright, now as far as the plugs, this is all the driver's side. And they're not too bad. They are a little fouled. But keep moving on. Next I'm going to remove some of the wiring, get that out of the way. I might even pull the distributor just so I can access the bell housing bolts a little easier. There's quite a bit of room on this in this engine bay, thankfully. That's what you get whenever you get to work on the old stuff. Not all of them though. Some of them are pretty cramped. I just gotta keep on trucking. Now that long cable, well, that's the choke cable. The other really long cable goes way down there. It's for my PTO. So I'm gonna have to get underneath there and disconnect that so I can keep that cable out of the way. Definitely don't wanna do any harm to that cable. Oh, remember whenever I was showing you the temperature sensor wire that was just wrapped around the terminal? That's right here. Oh no, that's a different one right here. You follow that wire all the way up here. They spliced it with the best splice on earth. Oh yeah. Definitely nice. Well, I'm gonna crawl underneath there, remove that PTO cable, and just keep on moving. All right, now that I'm back underneath the truck, there is the cable. Let's see if I can zoom into right there. I don't believe I'm gonna try taking that apart. It looks like it possibly might be adjusted how it needs to be, you know, the proper adjustment. So I'm just gonna go ahead and wire the cable up and out of the way. I will go ahead and remove the distributor for better access to the bell housing bolts. So basically all I have left is the bell housing bolts, the motor mounts, and I believe that's it. Oh, I think you can see it right up there. Possibly. A little metal line right there. That is my oil pressure line. I have to remove that as well. All right, let's remove the distributor. Well, everything on this engine is super loose. That's concerning. I mean, I know that everything has its own torque spec, but man, everything has been pretty loose. Watch the bell housing bolts be like put on by the Hulk. That would be my luck, I promise. This guy. And of course, I'll put a rag down in that hole real quick so nothing gets down in the engine. I am going to tear the engine down, but you don't want trash in there. Alright, I got you guys at the back of the engine. Just for fun, let's see if my little Milwaukee ratchet will break any of these loose. No way, did you guys see that? Let's see if I can get my hand. Got the light on it steady. I could take it off by hand. Oh my word. Well, let's try this one over here on this side. Well, here, I'm gonna see if I can do it by hand. Oh my goodness. By hand. Let's go down to the next one. Can you guys see it there? Oh, wow. All these bolts are loose. found the next one. Yep, I can pull that one by hand. Let's see if we can just do all of them. This one's behind the wire, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get to that. Oh, it's loose. Well, so far I didn't even need a tool to take the bell housing bolts loose. Let's go to the last one. Is it free? Yep, I got it loose with my hand. Ooh, it's tight though. Let me get this other one out of my hand. No, I'm gonna have to use the ratchet, but it was loose. I twisted it about a half a turn. Whoop, sorry guys, I bumped you. Well, which one did I unscrew? Maybe I unscrewed the wrong one first. I don't know what that one went to, but it came out also, so. Just feeling around, make sure I have all the bell housing bolts out. Yep. Dowels on that side still. Yep. I'm looking with my fingers, I can't see. Yep. And yep. All right, next we'll get the engine mount bolt nut. It's loose too. No effort. The other side loose? Probably. The other side was tight. I'll go ahead and get the other side while I'm down here. Got it. That bracket assembly that runs from the clutch pedal down and that levers over. Let's see, can't move my phone around very well. Down there to that rod there, which goes to the clutch fork. So I have to remove this whole rod because it's attached to the block over here with 2 bolts. Whew. Like I said earlier, it's definitely a warm one. But I do want to mention this. I do appreciate the older vehicles for the simple fact that I'm in with the engine. Just chilling out right by the water pump. Can't get around here. But yeah, just got my leg down here, standing, working on top. I got that clutch pivot assembly out of the way and off the block. The one last thing I have to do that I didn't realize, this is an old school type of starter. It doesn't bolt to the bottom of the block. I don't know if it's gonna focus. Come on, focus. It actually bolts to, you know, like sideways. I'll show you whenever I get it pulled out. See, it's bolted up to the bell housing, which I think is kind of unique. I guess that is a 1969 thing, or older. I'll have to do my research on it. I guess I'm used to the newer style, you know, mid-70s, where it had the 2 bolt holes that bolt up to the bottom of the block. This block might have that option, but this starter must be specific with this transmission. Pretty cool. Here's what I was mentioning about that starter being bolted up to the bell housing itself, instead of, you know, the original starter bolts that were, you know, right here, and they're either sideways or side, you know, straight. I don't know if this block has that underneath. I guess we could check whenever we pull it out, but why not? Let's just look now. Oh, maybe. Maybe. Looks like it does, but I don't think the transmission would approve. All right, one thing I did want to mention. I don't claim to know everything about these old trucks. I am willing to learn though, so if you guys know, leave them in the comments. I'd be glad to, you know, take some, you know, information, learn old school ways, new school ways, information. I'm not afraid of learning. So if you do know anything about what I'm working on or any suggestions you have, leave them down in the comments. I'd love it. Let's get this thing hooked up. I'll bring the engine hoist over here, throw a chain on it, and see what I forgot. All right, I got the engine hoist up here, and I realized that it's probably a good idea to just go ahead and remove the carburetor. And as I was looking up there, there are only 2 bolts holding the whole carburetor on. There's one missing here, and one missing on the opposite side. So that alone is a bad vacuum leak as well. Oh, it's a miracle this thing even ran. Didn't need it. Up here to get it hooked up. Let's check the tensile strength of everything that we forgot. It's usually how it goes whenever you're pulling the engine. So far, so good. I know I'm going to have to move those out of the way. Check the other side. Oh, the other side's already gone out of the way. Oh yeah, it's moving. Gotta watch out for that cable up here. Or let's put it behind. There we go. Before I go too crazy, let me check. Make sure that I'm losing all the water. So far, clear on this side. Looks like everything's clear on that side. Give her a go. Oh, hey, you guys are not far enough. You can't see. There we go. It sure is a dirty engine. Who knows how many miles are actually on it. But before I put on the engine stand, I do have to remove the clutch and pressure plate. I'm pretty sure I can leave the flywheel on there, so as soon as I get that removed, I will get on the engine stand, we'll drain the oil, make a bigger mess on my floor, and pull the oil pan off to see what kind of damage we have. How bad do you guys think it is? Now, for the little bit that I have drove this truck, you know, from beside the shop into the shop, the clutch didn't feel too bad. But it's not the prettiest. That flywheel looks rough. Definitely gonna have to get it resurfaced. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but it does not look the best. I know, I'm making a mess on the floor. It'll be fine. The pilot bushing feels a little dry. Doesn't feel like it's pretty bad. Well, wouldn't hurt to put a new one in there. Get this resurfaced. New clutch, pressure plate, throwout bearing. We'll have to get down in the transmission and see how bad the throwout bearing sounds. It didn't sound bad in the truck, but you also couldn't hear anything over the knocking. So there's always that. I'm gonna go ahead and drain the oil out of it while I get some other little things off of it that we don't need, you know, such as this bracket. We really don't need that. We do need this. Don't need that vacuum, all that good stuff. Get rid of just a little bit of everything that we really don't need. Make it look a little better. Set it up straight. Grab a wrench, get the oil drain. I love the strip threads. For this. Oh my God. Oh, that is not good. Let me get my hands clean real quick so I can at least grab you guys. What is this? Oh, that's a bearing. All this material. It had phenomenal oil pressure. There's another piece of bearing. This one? Yep. That one. Nope. That one's good. That one's good. 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 This back one. Good. And good. Well, so far it looks like it is. Well, that'd be cylinder number 1. Let's pull the cap off and take a look at it. I had to shut my shop door. The sun beams in horribly in the afternoons, so hopefully we can see better now. This is the one we determined it's bad. Oh, there's part of the bearing. That's not good. This one feels pretty tight still. This one, there's only the little lash side to side, but nothing up and down or, you know, all the wrong directions. This one's fine. That one feels pretty good. Those I'll have to rotate around, but I can stick my hand down there. It feels fine. It's part of a bearing down here because of, well, all of this up in here. Not good. Also, down in this oil pan. All of that. I think he might have ran it a little bit longer than what he said. But who knows? It could happen pretty quick. Sometimes it could happen after driving it too long. I'm gonna get the socket to pull off that cap, and then we'll see how bad the crank looks. I said there we go. Woo-wee. Yeah, no good. Oh, the crank looks horrible. Oh wait, that's the bearing. Oh, the crank looks horrible. But anyhow, look at that. Have mercy. Oh yeah, it's bad. Well, that probably doesn't help any. The oil journal's full. Yep. Well, looks like I'm gonna have to get a new crank, new rod. Let's see about checking those back ones. Piston up and out of the way. These other two back here seem to be pretty good too. They don't have any play like they're none like they're supposed to anyhow. But man, oh man, there's another piece of the bearing. She suffered. Now I am curious to see how the cylinder walls look. We can see them. I mean, they're not terrible, but I don't see any major marring or anything. I got a lot. This whole block has got to come apart and get cleaned. There's another piece of a bearing right there. Boy, it sure is bad. Well, everyone, that's it for this video. Thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe. I guess my next step is to find a rotating assembly, rebuild kit, you know, all that fun stuff. Make this a good little engine for my wife. You know, she's got to relearn how to drive a standard. Don't tell her I said that. She knows how to drive it, but last time she drove my old truck, not this one, the blue Chevy, it's out back. It was quite the ride. Let's just say that. She did good. The tires, on the other hand, is a different story. Anyhow, this truck should be able to handle it just fine. We just need to get the engine running good. I'm probably going to resurface the flywheel, check out the clutch and everything, but that'll all be in future videos. Again, thanks for watching. Oh, one last thing. We got to name this thing. What do you guys think we should name it? Put it down in the comments and let me know what you think. Again, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.